must win or not, doesn't really matter because we won it. Devils win 6-3 over the Philadelphia Flyers at the Stadium Series game. Oh my God, it is really late, and oh my God, was that fun from puck drop to the very end. My heart was basically pounding out of my chest the entire time for all of the 60,000 plus fans that were at the game, most of whom were Devils from what I saw on TV and heard from friends that were at the stadium. Hope that was a great one. Enjoyed it all the way through because the Nikos, man, the Nikos in this one, we've talked about in a previous game, and once again, they come through in this. We got some depth scoring. We got it from the big guns, and that just feels like a great game. I'm gonna try and quickly run through this because I am exhausted, tired, and I'm ready to pass out. It is almost 11:30, and so by the time I get this uploaded and everything, that's oh boy. Anywho, was it our best game? No. Was it picture perfect? No. Was it enjoyable? Absolutely. Been saying it leading up to this, but I talked about in the last game about John Tortorella's Philadelphia Flyers. That team is going to absolutely pound you with shots, and they did that once again. Over 80 shots in this one, I believe it was 85 plus shots between both of the teams. Flyers alone had almost 50 themselves. We were at over 30, and that second period was absolutely insane. But all in all, while the Flyers absolutely will pepper you with shots, kind of similar to the Hurricanes in that they kind of juice up the Corsi stats. Actually, scoring chance wise, I felt like the Devils kept pace, if not outpaced, the Flyers throughout this entire game. Starting in the first period, we know how that started. 30 seconds in, Nico reads the play stupendously. Palat has a great board play. Maybe a little bit of luck with the referee along the boards, but Nico beats Flyers goalie, and it is 1-0 for the second fastest Stadium Series goal ever. That had me out of my seat, pounding the couch. It was great. That's how you wanted to open it. It should have been a Nico Hischier hat trick to end it, which would have made the most amazing storyline ever. But that's okay. You know, we'll live with him. I guess barely missing it, hitting the outside of the net. I'm sure some of the guys will give him some crap for that one, but it is what it is. You know, you get the dub. That's really all the captain's going to care about. Not too long after, while I do think the Flyers had to better the play in the first period for sure. Really, it was only the Nico and Brat line that I felt like was really generating much of anything, at least in the first period, and honestly for much of the game. We got on the board again, 2-0 with the Tyler Toffoli goal. We had a beautiful pass from Jack over to Smith. A Smith shot basically searching for the rebound. Toffoli perfectly positioned. 2-0 Devils. Smith had a phenomenal game. I know he has been a fan favorite to a pinata to fan favorite again to pinata again to fan favorite again. It's been the ebbs and flows of Brendan Smith, especially in and out the injury. He had the suspension, but he definitely brings something that basically nobody else on the roster does. He was physical all night, multi-point game, as we're going to talk about here. Plays the PK. He was great 5-on-5, I feel like, and that this was just a Brendan Smith game for the ages, really. But it wasn't all picture perfect. While we did end the first period up 2-0, the second period got a little dicey there for sure. Flyers do end up scoring. Tippett had himself a game as well with 2 goals. I'll kind of just cover the Flyers goals all in succession here real quick because I want to really just focus on the positives. But Tippett kind of got lost in a couple plays. There was the one broken play on the Nico Hischier breakaway with Bratt where he kind of passed it back to nobody, giving it right away to the Flyers. They kind of called it out on the broadcast where he probably felt like Luke was going to be there, but Luke peeled off, and instead Flyers move back in transition. We break up the play initially, but we don't get it to clear the zone. Puck ends up right in the middle of the ice, and on the broken play, nobody's there to defend it, even in the new system setup, and Tippett has a bit of a snipe. Now, there was also the Palat penalty, which was not a penalty. I don't know if you saw that replay, but it wasn't. I don't know if the refs were going for a makeup call, if like the players were getting a better play, but we were winning, so they wanted to even it out a little bit. That whole first 2 periods of officiating was brutal. It just felt like it was seconds of 5-on-5 play, and then it was 5-on-4, 4-on-4, 4-on-3, 5-on-4, 4-on-4, 4. It was just so The coaches hate it. I hate it. The Devils definitely hate it. We love when we can roll our lines, get Jack out there a whole bunch, not be on the PK, and just really let the boys run with it. And instead, really, the first two periods just felt like it was back and forth between special teams and not, with just little spots of 5-on-5. But by the end of that second period, woo, were the goals a coming and were the shots a coming. And so by the end of it, it was 4-2. You had the aforementioned couple of typicals, and we also had a Brendan Smith goal. Yeah, a Brendan Smith goal. That is some. You just love to see that for him. Again, we talked about it. Great game from him. Right place, right time. Great shot. Really more of a stuffing than a shot, I guess. But rebound chance. He was there, read the play right, and that is a Brendan Smith goal. We also had a Nate Bastian goal, which, oh, what a goal. What a selly, right? They gave. At first, I thought he was going for this. I thought he was trying to rose the crowd up, but instead, he gave him a little bit of this, and yeah, I love that from Nate. Definitely feeding off the crowd, pumping him up. Definitely loved absolutely everything about it. Yeah, it didn't last too long. Flyers end up bringing it right back to a 2-goal game, which we talked about. I think that was the Palat penalty goal, which, whatever on the penalty kill give up there. Nico Dawes had a fantastic second period. If not for Nico Dawes, that probably ends up a tied game at some point. Phenomenal saves, multiple good saves in a row through stretches there. Flyers absolutely pounded the shots on goal in that second period, but we had our chances. It wasn't a lot of shots, but we had our chances as well. Coming to the third period, I felt like we did have our feet back under us there in that one. Yeah, the Flyers did get a goal to make it a 2-goal game again after Nico Hischier got his second to make it 5-2 at that time. They get the 5-3 off of really just, again, another little broken play. Great shot by Sealer, his first goal of the season, yada, yada, whatever. The Flyers definitely kept it interesting. Again, Torch, even if the Flyers somehow drop out of a playoff spot, Torch should be coach of the year. Nico should have had the first career hat trick, man. Really should have. He didn't. Missed the shot just barely wide. And instead, Nate gets his second of the night. Good for him. Deserves it after his celly on the first. Boys were celebrating like crazy. Hope they got to enjoy this one fully. Great night for the fans, for sure, especially against the Flyers. I've been more of a Central Jersey growing up for half my life, and then the second half of my life has really been in South Jersey, Burlington County, Philly area. I went to school in Camden, so I know a lot of Flyers fans, and yeah, so every time we meet the Flyers, it is extra good feelings for me. Definitely hate them more than I hate the Rangers, which for a lot of Devils fans, I know that's not the case, but when you're in this area, it certainly is. Now, I want to talk mostly on the positives, but Nico and Bratt, fantastic. Palat, solid game. Bratt, probably one of the best, if not the best player on the ice all night. Nico, right in that conversation, if not the best himself. Jack had his moments, but I felt like his line as a whole, I've been talking about it for games now, it's just kind of missing maybe that early season energy that it did have. Yes, Jack got an assist on the Toffoli goal off of the Brendan Smith shot. But all in all, maybe you just want a little bit more from that line. The Timo line was bit in fluctuation. I think Mercer got sat for a bit of a stretch. It didn't really generate much. Again, Timo also got an assist on the Nate goal. So you'd love to see him get on the board again, but I never felt like he had a dominant shift, really anything in this one. And the fourth line, Holtz also got benched for a while. For a moment, I thought maybe he got traded mid-game, but he did show up back again in the third period. And, the fourth line had its moments. Nate, I think, actually got bumped up to the third line for some stretches. And he had, again, the couple of goals, which was great. But really, that bottom six left a lot to be desired. The Jack line wasn't dominant. It definitely got outshot. But scoring chance-wise, it actually did fairly well. Or, good enough, I guess. But, it's Jack Hughes. So you want more, I guess. You want those just insane stat lines, insane plays and stuff from him, but didn't quite get that. Instead, the captain, the Nikos, really, I think, were the stars of this game, along with Bratt. And going to shout out the defense. Nemec, I thought, actually had one of his more struggle games of the season, at least in recent stretches. Luke continues to be fantastic. No real complaints there. I think Marino is almost fully back to form, which is great for us. He has been looking fantastic. Ball continues to struggle a bit, which is, I don't like to see that. Smith, nothing more I can say there. Great game from him. And Miller was involved in physical, but otherwise didn't really stand out to me much in this one. Didn't dig into the stats yet at all. It is, again, late, and this video is already running longer than I thought it would. But yeah, that really runs through the team. Deployment-wise, thumbs up to the coaching staff and all that. I'll talk about this real quick. Almost forgot this. A couple things. Power play struggles. Got to figure that out. If we can figure out the power play, I see no reason why we don't just run ourselves into the playoffs. And number two, are a couple other things. I don't know how that wasn't a penalty on the Nico Dawes shove. I'm very happy they did not score there because I would have been livid. But that was a full, basically, cross check to Nico Dawes pushing him into the net with no call. Already talked about the Palat no call, the reffing, blah, whatever. But yeah, video's already running too long. I got to cut it off here. Smith's physical game was fantastic. Miller was physical, which was fantastic. Boys didn't let themselves get shoved around. Was there any other things that really stuck out? The broadcast itself was, the announcers, whatever. The stadium looked great. The fans were great. The setup with the parks, if you want to go with Jersey, sure. The little tidbits about Jersey, sure. Stuff's not really for us, I guess. That's more for the, fans not from here. So maybe, we'll look for them to see how they thought of that. But all in all, the Jonas Brothers concert, I think I recognized one song a little bit, but maybe it was from like a commercial or just hearing it in an department store. But, for the people that like the Jonas Brothers, shout out to them. I hope they enjoyed the concert. Gaslight Anthem doing live renditions of the goal song. They got to do it 6 times. Shout out to that. So that was pretty sweet. Glad they got to do that a bunch of times. And PK being our hype man. Last thing. Love you, PK. Wear your jersey in the last video. Maybe could have saved it for this one, but yeah. Love that. Yeah, I got to go to sleep, guys. It's officially past 11:30. It's brutal. So, good night, guys. Until the next one, as always, and forever. Let's go.